Howdy everyone. Welcome to Inside Russia. My name is Konstantin and I'm streaming live from the very heart of Russia. Country's capital, Moscow. I'm back to Moscow for some time. I don't know for how long, but I'm here. Missed the live stream yesterday because we were in transition from good to great. And, we are in Moscow. So time for another stream. Thank you so much for joining me. A little different setup, a different light, different sound today, experimenting a little bit. I have a very interesting topic for you. I'm going to be talking about Russia's biggest threat that the country is facing. Whoa. There you go. Hopefully this is a little better. There. Experimenting with the camera a little bit. Well, let's jump right into the message. If any one of you is in business, if any one of you has worked in large groups of people, you probably know that companies or business most valuable asset is its people. People, hands down, absolutely something priceless. That is a very heart of, enterprise. Same goes for the countries. The most valuable asset of any country is its people. Okay, and to succeed, country needs to do everything to keep the best of the best and to, develop regular folks, regular citizens, educate them, provide them for opportunities, make them grow, give them good environment to grow, self-grow. I would like to talk about Russia today. And Russia has a very sad history. Perhaps even tragic. Little of you know that Russia has had 6 waves of emigration so far. And I'm talking about the last 100 years. I'm going to go in detail. It's very nutshell, First wave was from 1903 to 1906. Pogroms. Jewish pogroms. Kishinev, Chesnow, Kiev, some other places. From 70 to 250,000 250,000 Jewish people were murdered. And about 2.5 million Jews left following years, running away from pogroms. By the way, in Russian school and in Russian university, on history lessons, I did not learn anything about pogroms. Nothing at all, because they just didn't teach us. I learned about pogroms in the United States in 1998, and I didn't believe it at first. Went to Russian history books, and there you have it. It was confirmed, but they just don't talk about it. Anyway, wave number 1, pogroms. 2.5 million left, running for their lives. Second wave, it's called the white wave, white emigres, белые мигранты. 1917 Bolshevik Revolution. There was a coup, overthrew government, installed new government, and civil war followed. Russian officers, not Bolsheviks, but who were before Bolsheviks, they were running away from Bolsheviks and from the civil war. And there's no official statistics, but the countries that took. Oh yeah, by the way, that the Jews of pogroms emigres, they went westwards, the Americas and Europe. The white wave, the Белые emigranti, they went all over the world. Some of them ended up in China, in Harbin. Some in Europe. Paris was place of choice. Lots of them left for the United States of America. Lots left for Canada, Argentina, all over the world. And in many countries, there are still ancestors of those immigrants, the white immigrants. Hard to say how many people left, but that was a tragedy. Cream of the crop, the officers, the educated people, very bright people left. We're talking about millions, of course. Millions were murdered along the way, by the way. The third wave, World War II, during the World War II and after the World War II. A lot of people were simply fleeing the Soviet regime, the Bolsheviks, plain and simple. Again, there is no official statistic on that, but it is very clear that the numbers of people were in millions. Wave number 3. No, that's wave number 4, pardon me. Soviet emigres, Soviet immigration. There were so many people who were trying to leave, get out of the USSR real hard. They just didn't like to live in the USSR, and I know myself quite a few people of those. I saw people leaving 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s. A lot of Jewish people, a lot of Russians, a lot of Russian Germans, Volga Germans with ancestry in Germany. My wife's family are Volga Germans, and some of them left in the 70s, went back to Germany. So again, there is no official statistics, but it's easy to imagine that over the years, they were millions of people left Soviet Union. The fifth wave happened in the 90s, early 90s. The Soviet Union fell apart, the doors got open, and Russians started leaving left and right just to see what the life is on the other side of the fence, you know. A lot of people couldn't live in the USSR, and it had been their dream, and finally they could do that. Lots of left. Lots of people were fleeing, this economic hardship that Russia had to offer in the 90s. Again, there's no official statistics. In this wave of immigration, probably the weakest one, because Russia had lots of opportunities. For the first time in 100 years, in Russia, Russia had something to offer. Something, I can't say marvelous, but something. It had dreams to offer. It had future for the first time in 100 years. Bolsheviks were gone, and the future, the new dawn, so to speak, could be seen in the 90s. So people still left, but not too many. And now, wave number 6 started in February of 2022. And this is what I'm going to talk about a little bit today. I'm going to give you some statistics from Росстат, that's the state official statistics agency. It counts all kinds of stuff, including how many people leave Russia and how many people come to Russia. I'm gonna give you some statistics, some figures now, numbers. Let's compare first 6 months of 2021 and 2022. 2021 was okay year. It was the second year of CV-19 epidemic, and there was a lot of delayed demand for traveling, for tourism, for business, because Russia and a lot of countries, they have been blocked off in the year of 2020. Finally opened up, some of them opened up, Russia definitely opened up in 2021, and people just flocked out. Tourism, delayed demand for doing business, visiting relatives, all kinds of stuff, which is kind of understandable. So for the first 6 months of 2021, there were 6.8 million people left Russia. Now, let's compare with 2022. 6.8, 21, 8.5 million, 2022. First 6 months. According to the Rostov, again, that's official statistics. A lot of people do not trust official agencies, official numbers that they provide here in Russia, and it's hard to blame them. I'm not talking about myself, but I'm talking about others, Please read between the lines. So, but even if we take this number, 8.5, and break it down, there are three kinds of agendas for people that people have when they leave. First is tourism. Obvious, it's international tourism. Russians leave Russia, come back shortly after. Second is private reasons. For example, leaving for good, changing country, things like that. And the third is business, usually short or mid-term business trips. So if we break down 2022, then we will see that there were 2.3 million people who left with agenda of tourism, with a goal of tourism, 5 million with private goals, and not such a great number, 190,000 people left on business. Now, let's analyze this a little bit. Let's try to think. I like to break down numbers and think about them. Now, what kind of tourism exactly right now in the minds of Russians? Russia is conducting some events in Ukraine. Russia is the most sanctioned country in the world. Russia's economic future is in dire straits, and a lot of people understand that. Now, international tourism is not that cheap. I think a lot of people this year, just like me, I was thinking of taking a vacation in Turkey as well, but last year I went on vacation, I paid $2,700, let's say $3,000. This year, for the same hotel, for the same number of nights, for the same number of people, same everything, I was quoted $11,000. And I'm not the only one. So I think lots of people have cut down on international travel for international tourism this year. And even if let's consider that Russians still did go to Turkey, Thailand, other countries, guess what? They didn't go to Europe because Europe is blocked off. They didn't go to the United States because it's nearly impossible to get visas to the United States. Canada, Australia, Japan, China. Oh, forget about China. China, our best friend, you know. That's actually interesting. Just Rostov released statistics that most Russians think that China is, well, anyway, majority of Russians think that China is the friend number one, the best friend of Russia. Ooh, give me some of that vodka they're drinking. Anyway, no tourism to China this year, pretty much anywhere. There are tourist destinations that are left are Egypt. In the summertime, have you been to Egypt in June, July? I have. That's not tourism, that's torture, okay? So, Turkey, very expensive. I assume few people went to Turkey, but not 2 million, you know, far from it. What else? Bali, Maldives, 2.3 million tourists. No. Private, 5 million. I believe that, but you know what? I also believe that they're just not. Well, I believe that at least 5 million have gone, and by private, they have gone on so-called extended vacations, and with no immediate plans to leave. Now, I know so many people like that. I have seen them online on YouTube. I've know tons of people personally who have done that, and just in a couple of minutes I'll tell you what usually those people look like and what they're about. So it's easy to say that yes, at least 5 million have left. I think many more, okay? Business reasons, business trips, 190,000, perhaps. But again, business is not the best time because Russia has been sanctioned and there's not. I mean, what is there to discuss in Europe, in China? You don't go to Europe or China to do business these days, you know. So even if we take for granted that this Rostad numbers are real, not fake, you know, not undermined a little bit, then we see that there's a huge increase of people who left Russia this year compared to the last year. And if we just add a multiplier, perhaps 2, we will see that millions and millions and millions have left, perhaps even tens of millions. Now, who leaves Russia? Let's not talk about tourists. Let's not talk about business travelers who go and come back. Let's talk about those who go on extended vacations and don't come for a year, couple years, 5 years, 40 years, I don't know, 60 years, something like that. Who are they? Who leaves Russia and who stays? Well, people who leave are usually young or younger, energetic, educated, fearless, self-confident, entrepreneurial, hardworking, flexible, open-minded. People who work, who rely on themselves to make living, who are employed and who employ others, who have hot skills required in the global market right now. Programmers, IT specialists, designers, security specialists, you name it. The ones who actually can find a job outside of Russia, abroad easily, or who is employed by foreign companies here in Russia. those people have no problem leaving country and not coming back. Who is staying? Older folks who don't believe in the opportunities, who thinks that nothing is up to them, who don't like to work hard, who don't have much energy, who don't rely on themselves but onto the government or someone else to for their well-being. That kind of people. They stay. They never leave. But the ones who leave, they are the cream of the crop. The best Russia has or had to offer. Russia's been losing the foundation of economical well-being because I'm coming back to where I started. What is number one most valuable asset of any country? It's people. Not the resources, not its oil, not its gas. I mean, look what's happening to Russia now. There are rumors that Russian oil companies are actually burning gas right now. I'm not sure whether it's true or not, but you cannot just cap off mines, gas mines or gas shafts or oil mines, oil shafts or whatever, oil rigs. You have to somehow do something with oil and gas that you produce. And the easiest way to do that, well, perhaps the only way now, is to burn some of it. So you think you have this as most valuable asset of your country, but then something happens just like that, and then it just becomes worthless, perhaps even dangerous, because that's really bad for environment to burn it off, or you can sell it to someone for peanuts. That's what is happening and will be happening in the future. So all of a sudden, resources is not such a valuable asset, but people are. And look at the Israel, just very, very, very quick example. Israel doesn't have much resources. Well, Israel doesn't have any resources. I think it's only resources sea salt from the Dead Sea, and that's it. But look at Israel. Oh my God, what a fantastic, strong, advanced country. Why? Because it creates environment for its people, its citizens, to grow, to work, to research, to start companies, to earn money, to live in a free society, to have honest legal system, court, judicial system, things like that. Look at Israel. It's running circles around Russia. And Russia has the biggest resources on the planet. Biggest volumes of oil, gas, and so forth, metals. So, unfortunately, Russia's been losing the best of the best. These are the people who have left. They need to stay. The state must do everything to keep them. It must offer them this fantastic environment. It must compete with the other countries. Instead, they have left. My personal experience, since February of 2022, I have talked to numerous people discussing all kinds of things, if you know what I mean. And among people I know, they have been dozens and dozens who have left. And I'm talking very smart, very educated, very bright people Country number one is Israel. 6 friends of mine have left for Israel. And they relocated to Israel, and guess what? They're doing fantastic. They found jobs, they moved their families, just like that. Everything's fine. The United States, country number two. Couple of my friends moved to the USA. Couple to Canada. Quite a few to Europe, actually. And people I don't know, but I have seen with my own eyes, Uzbekistan and Kazakhstan. Hundreds, thousands. The plane that I was flying to Uzbekistan in March was full of Russians. Usually, before, it was full of Uzbeks. Migrants, unskilled laborers. Things have changed, Unskilled laborers cannot afford to pay for a ticket as much as Uzbek Airlines charging these days. Only people with high income can, mostly Russians. Russian restaurant chains are opening their restaurants in Tashkent, catering to Russians. Imagine how many Russians there are there. I've seen them with my own eyes. Everything is taken. It's really hard to rent an apartment, and the prices have gone up 400%. Since merely January, because there are so many Russians. Same thing goes for for Kazakhstan. I have friends in Kazakhstan, close friends, and we have an office in Kazakhstan, so I know exactly what I'm talking about. Kazakhstan, same thing, a wave of Russian immigrants. They come there, they immediately dull. They continue to work. They don't look for jobs. They already have jobs, and they start settling in a new country. Turkey. I don't know, perhaps over a million. Don't quote me on that, but it looks like over a million of Russians have left for Turkey for, some time. Let's put it this way. The Turks are giving Russians very favorable conditions. They give in green cards, Turkish green cards, easily. If you buy property there, you get it automatically. Then in 6 months or 8 months, you get citizenship. Turks welcome Russians because Russians, the smart ones come, the most educated out of all Russia come. The brightest, the most entrepreneurial, and not the poor ones come. Russia has been losing people for the past 100 years. This is wave number 6, and this is the biggest and the baddest wave. And somehow I feel it's just the beginning. The brain drain is the worst thing that can happen to any country, and it has been happening to Russia. We simply will not be able to compete in the global marketplace because we will have no one to compete with. And it is such a sad story for my country. I can only say that the trend that was started in 1903 has been continuing and has been increasing lately. This has been my message, my friends. Thank you so much. I hope you found it interesting, valuable. I am ready to answer your questions in the comments. I'm turning on the comments right now. Let's do it. Pictures are a little off. Very strange. Let's see, this is better. This is the first stream I'm doing in Moscow in quite a while. There's so many things to consider, like equipment-wise. Internet is different, lighting is different, sound is different, because my room here it's echoing, all kinds of things. And looks like I have lost you a little bit. There you go, it's coming back. They are blocking YouTube in Russia. They're blocking static content. If I don't use VPN, then I don't see any pictures, static pictures. I can watch the videos, but I don't see your avatars. Okay, so whoever wants to see avatars is forced to use VPN. I'm kind of seeing your avatars right now. Bruce is #1 today. Great to see you. Mickey Marketek, Mommy, Lorna, Dirk, Blackhead, Jacob, Mr. E30, Emma Makers, Joy, long time no see, Tim, Frank in Texas, Susan M, Jess Terry, Jeffrey S, May Reg, the usual suspects, Lorna, Bob, Harry is not today, he's flying. One of our mods is a pilot, very, very skilled pilot, so sometimes he doesn't make it to the streams. You know, he's up there then. Anyway, thank you so much for coming. Thank you for giving me a chance, another chance to deliver you the message. I'm ready to answer the questions. Mayrag, first question. Konstantin, sorry to be off topic, but can you talk? May, sad day for me personally, sad day for Russia, I think. A lot of Russians are grieving, but most Russians actually are not, because Gorbachev was not popular here in Russia. He was much more popular in the West. I will not talk about him today because I dedicate an entire stream to Mikhail Gorbachev tomorrow, and there will be no message. I want to do this. I want to premiere a video that I made about him, about 20 minutes, and after that I will turn on the live stream. I'll turn on the chats right on, and I will answer all the questions. It's going to be Gorbachev questions and answers, and that man definitely deserves to spend an hour discussing his life, his path, and results of his work that he had done. Pamela J, hi from Boston, girl. Howdy, howdy. J Saturn, rip, R.I.P. Mr. Gorbachev. Definitely. Black Cat just gave sponsorship of Inside Russia. Thank you so much, my friend. Thank you. Sabrina, Robert, Ragnar, King Nero. Toast, aloha from Sweden. Oh wow, aloha. Howdy, howdy. Alright, so if you want me to answer any questions on brain drain and what has been happening in Russia, please put them in caps. And it'd be great if you put my name after @ so I see an orange box, it appears, and it kind of signals to me that that's the question for me. That's a super chat from Lloyd. Thank you. Wishing you and your family well. Are you always in my thoughts and prayers from Minnesota, USA? Thank you so much, Lloyd. I appreciate it. Sending love from Russia to you. Charlie B, howdy from Pacific Beach. Another hot summer day. Moscow is cold. It's 14, 15 Celsius, low 60s. We came from the land of 100 Fahrenheit, from 35 into 14. It's not fun. RIP Mikhail Gorbachev, please add his name to today's prayers. I will do so. I didn't think of that, but that's good. El Sombrero, 107 Fahrenheit. Whoa, that's hot. Five by five. Thank you. Thank you, Rudy. Owie Hand, what do you think about Europe's plan about visa ban for Russians? Very, very tough and very sad question for me. Well, I think that it's going to happen sooner or later, rather later than sooner. They just ruled out the possibility to ban visas, travel visas, tourist visas for Russians in the near future. It's not going to happen. But what will happen, already has happened, is the European countries have decided to make a process of obtaining visas to Europe much more complicated and much more complicated, more expensive, and longer. Very easy process of obtaining visa. Couple days, 30 euros. Just, fill out a few forms. You get yourself a visa for, I don't know, 6 months, 3 months, year, 5 years. The longer you travel, the more they travel, the longer the visa would be for. It looks like it's not going to happen anytime soon, but is it justifiable? Is this needed to do that? As a Russian citizen, I cannot answer that. It's better seen on your side. It's better seen in Europe. If you say so, it's your decision. All I am going to do is humbly accept it. That's it. Because I, as a Russian citizen, and 140 other Russian citizens along with me, we're not in a position to say anything about it. Because European visa is a privilege for us to travel to Europe. Same for Russian visa. It's a privilege that Russia grants to a person to travel to Russia. So, if you say that Russians are banned, you don't want Russians, I will comply. I will humbly comply. It's not going to be easy, and it's very upsetting, very sad. But what can we do? My point of view. I'm not saying if it's a right one, but it's very subjective, and it's mine. You also got to speak to other Russians to find out what they think. In the Russian news, in the Russian Telegram channels, a lot of people are angry and they something. Oh, we'll show them. They're gonna be. They will come back on their knees and they will be begging us for our money to go and spend our money there. And I'm thinking, whew, boys, what are you drinking? Give me some of that vodka, the good stuff, because they're just delusional. A lot of Russians don't understand what is really going on, and they feel like Europeans depend on Russian tourists' money so much. Then it's going to be a tragedy for Europe if Russians will stop coming. I have no comments. I have nothing to say to that. Hope I answered your question. Dr. Christopher Koonen. Okay, welcome to Inside Russia. Thank you for becoming a sponsor. King Nero, Brain drain and population vacuum means a harder life for middle and older age people as you have fewer contributors to support them. Very sad indeed. King Nero, thank you so much for the super chat. And this is exactly what I said. Cream of the crop, that's the foundation of economic success of any country. Young, energetic, hardworking taxpayers who are employed, make lots of money, pay lots of taxes, and create jobs to employ many others. Okay, that is the foundation. That's the train engine that kind of pulls all the train cars behind. What are we gonna do? Right now, there's tremendous shortage of computer programmers. The ones who are left, and don't get me wrong, not every single computer programmer left Russia. Okay, there are quite a few that have stayed, perhaps even the majority. But now they, I'm trying to find this good word, how to describe it. They demand, mandate perhaps, such higher salaries that the price of coding, developing, has doubled in the recent months. Okay, there are so many job openings for computer programmers right now. I can compare it with the USA in the late 90s, like 98, 99, 2000, before the dot-com crash. The demand for computer programmers was overwhelming. Any computer programmer could be, just naming his or her demands, and that's it. And right now, this is what starts happening in Russia. Terrible, terrible. And yes, older folks are going to hurt a lot, and even middle-aged folks. John Wakamatsu, thank you so much. My friend, much appreciated. I'm running out of mlesna here in Moscow. I have plenty in Rostov. Didn't bring any because we had full truck full of stuff, not needed junk. It's like clothing and you name it. This family of five generates so much of unneeded stuff, and it's amazing. Lionel Slade, thank you so much for 20 pounds. No message, but this message is powerful enough. I appreciate it. It's not comfortable chair in my kitchen, just a basic kitchen chair. Nothing like my office in Rostov. Isabel, thank you so much. Well, we did have a good trip. It was fairly easy, fairly light and short, unusually short. Traffic on this major highway from Rostov to Moscow was nearly non-existent, way off compared to the previous years. Well, I understand why. I've been talking about this stuff for the past 6 months. If you listen to my streams, you also would understand why. It's just proof of my words. Basically, that's it. Scott, there was no stream yesterday. We were in transition from Rostov to Moscow. Darren, thank you so much for €5. It'll be hard for Russia to find its groove again. I don't know what groove again. Groove is? Groove, maybe. Is that going to influence your work? Of course, only answer where you want to. It has influenced my work. I mean, it's not a secret. My industry is imploding. Construction, like most infrastructure projects, have been hit. Some are doing okay, like for example, roads. You cannot cut down on fixing or building new roads that much. You can at least, well, you must service roads, okay? So people who are in road construction business are doing okay. people who are in civil construction not doing well at all, companies, and my industry, power facility construction, isn't doing well either. Because large infrastructure projects, you need long-term planning. Return on investment is long, 7, 10, 15 years sometimes. And you need stability for construction like that. This is volatility right now. Banks cannot finance. They don't know what's going to happen to them in a couple months. Will they stay alive or they will go under? And I'm talking about AAA rated Russian banks, the ones used to be absolutely, fantastic. Now we don't know what's going to happen to them. Customers don't know whether they will need power stations in the future or not. So I'm still at work. My company is hanging by a thread, like any other company in Russia, trying to break into new markets: Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan. We are in Mongolian market, but not nothing major. It's really hard to break into the new markets because competition of local companies is pretty high, and no one needs a newcomer from Russia coming in and compete. That's one thing. Another thing, if you provide quality service and so forth, it still takes years to break into those markets. So I'm okay. I'm okay. I still have a job, unlike hundreds of thousands of Russians. Well, September 1st here in Russia in 8 minutes, and I suggest we will start seeing changes, economic changes, major ones this fall. So we'll see. You can quote me on that, by the way. In 3 months, I will review the fall. And summer we still were going strong and fast, but we've been slowing down in July and August, and now we are going real slow, and we're getting ready to stop, so to speak. Like if we ran out of gas in our car. We'll see. Sigbeard, great content, thank you. I also read that many Russians take an extended vacation in Armenia. Yes, they do. But the problem is Armenia is tiny. Armenia and Georgia, small countries, they can only support so many Russians, okay? So, not as many as you think. Not millions, okay? Shelkovoi Lucian, thank you so much for 25 Romanian money. Thank you. No message, but this message is pretty strong. I mean the money. John Knox, do you think Russia can ever become a true democracy? I will not answer this question. Read between the lines. Ragnar Groove, Scottish, the face of the front of the body. Got you, thank you so much. That is a different question, not groove. Not groove. I was trying to answer that. Steven, is your office modeled on any Wilkes study? This is my kitchen. It's not modeled after anything. I don't know. We bought this apartment with this kitchen, which is I don't like personally. I want to remodel it. If things were okay, not things were okay with Ukraine, not attacking or anything, I would definitely invest some money in it. Um Anyway, it's the kitchen. What are you gonna do? I'm trying to find that question about groove, because it's a different meaning. Christian Cruci, have you ever considered leaving Russia? I left Russia for 9 years. I came back. That's the biggest. That's the biggest, the most vibrant answer. I left Russia for a year. I lived in Ukraine for a year. I left Russia for Uzbekistan, 2 years in Uzbekistan. I kept on coming back because I love this country. It's my motherland. It's my home. But unfortunately, it's been changing very fast, and I just simply don't know what this country is about these days. Mika, can you please explain Russia's educational system, how many years, costs, etc.? Different stream, it's complicated question. May, I think visas should be restricted for tourism, but not for work and or asylum. It's a bit upsetting to see way some Russian tourists behave. Again, May, it's up to you. It's a privilege that you grant to people to enter your country or not, or don't grant it. So I take it I humbly take whatever you say. Mehdi, I would love to travel to Russia. Well, you still can. Isabel Legault, message received. Thank you. Bob, watching time. I would have thought the brain drain was a requirement for February 24th and not just after it. Um, KW and Y Upstate, I strongly disagree with that message. Um, I think a requirement for February 24th was different, as it was a shock to most of us, I would say all of us, and it was clearly a shock to many of the government people who for 2 weeks were just sitting on their butts, not saying a word, because they were just like me, trying to grasp air. Like, what the hell is happening? Many of them didn't say a word for the first 2 weeks. It was surreal. And only after that initial shock had gone, then they started speaking up and stuff like that. But hey, they're very active right now. Oh my gosh. Oh, Frank in Texas. Crazy Russian Sergey went to Vladivostok by train. Oh, that's pretty cool. Um, it takes a couple weeks to go there by train, doesn't it? I heard it's like the most boring trip ever. Nothing. You just sit there for 2 weeks in the train cab. Carmen, is the brain drain affecting everyday banking? No, not really. Mods, if you allow 10 more minutes, it'd be really interesting to answer more questions. So, Carmen, is the brain drain affecting everyday banking? Affecting, yes. Banking in Russia are fintech companies, financial and technical companies, and very, very convenient. The major banks, they have great systems. They're lacking programmers now. Their systems probably will become less safe, meaning it's easier for hackers to get there. Um, affecting very much. Banking, yes, other industries as well. Sheep Billings, thank you so much. I watch 1420 myself. I think he's, well, two of the guys. I think they're amazing, absolutely amazing. They're legends. Ferrari guy, any word on the number of rich millionaire Russians leaving versus general leaving? Seems to be quite extensive from both Russia and China lately. Don't have any statistics about that, but from what I see in the news, whoever could have left. The problem is there are task forces in America and Europe who are investigating if a millionaire rich person connected to current Russia's government or to Putin or to top officials, sanctions. And it's really hard to be rich in Russia these days and not to be connected somehow. So there is a risk, huge risk for this Russian rich millionaires because they might become thousandaires instead of millionaires. And that's the very unique situation for the very first time in our lives. I'm seeing that. I have personally witnessed three waves of migration. Late 80s, 90s, and I'm witnessing the third one today. And let me tell you, there's nothing like what's going on right now I've seen before. Dorian, when will the brain drain will be apparent to average citizens of Russia? Great question. Thank you. You know what? If I was an average citizen of Russia, well, am I an average citizen? No. I'm educated in both countries. I speak English. I have access to news in English. I have friends, family abroad. So I'm not your typical Russian. But they don't realize that things that they don't know affect in their lives in a way that the future will be absolutely ruined. If they knew, I think they would be very, very scared, like I am scared. So when it's going to parent to them, I don't know. Couple years, 3 years, 5 years. One day they are going to wake up and it's going to be a rude awakening. Julia, are you worried that your children will want to leave Russia? Julia, please, I take the Fifth Amendment. Who will not answer that question? That's a joke. I just don't want to answer this question. But question is pretty good. How is unemployment in Russia? I'm sorry, I'm bad with names. Unemployment is rising. Rostad is saying that. Well, I did a stream not too long ago about unemployment. Official government agency, the Minister of Labor, said that the unemployment started rising in June, but it's still low. In reality, unemployment is, well, let's put it this way, lots of people looking for good jobs. Lorraine Prosnowski, thank you so much. It's great to see you. Ed Savath, cheers, Konstantin. Best wish to your family. Thank you so much, Ed Savath. How about industrial control field engineers? Do you have a shortage? In the new projects or industrial, like the ongoing processes? I don't think there are shortages in the processes because if you don't have an engineer, things might go bad, real bad, if I understood you correctly. So I don't think there's a shortage of those, but new developments, new constructions, the engineers, we call them the technology engineers, definitely those are off. Investment Joy. I love the name, Investment Joy. Love your content. What are feelings of average Russian and wealthy Russians concerning technology embargoes, chips processes specifically? Investment Joy. One thing I don't really find very sad and tragic about Russians is that a lot of people I either don't understand what is happening or they pretend. Or perhaps they understand but they're so scared they wanna avoid this topic at any cost. A lot of Russians are saying something like, "We will show them. It's time. It's time." It's actually great because we will design our own chips, the best in the world, something like that. Again, I want some of that good stuff that's drinking because it's just this is so stupid. That's atrocious. So, wealthy Russians, I don't really know. Wealthy Russians are concerned with their wealth disappearing because not just people who connected with the government are in trouble, but regular business people. I gave an example of a good friend of mine who owns a chain of bakeries in the city of Rostov, and then his his sales are down by 1/3, and his costs are up by 1/3 because he's charged more for baking flour, powder, you know, sugar, salt, everything to bake cakes. And people have less money and they pay less and they buy less of his stuff. So this is what is happening. I think that the wealthy people are more concerned about keeping their wealth, at least not losing as much. Thank you so much. Brianna, please pray for Gorbachev's soul. Great topic. Love from Cork. Thank you so much, Brianna. Great to see you. Lorna, Mommy, Bob. I'm seeing that. Don Walters, hi from Austin. Thank you so much, Don. Austin, Texas. Pretty cool place. Haven't been there, but I've heard a lot. How much do you think the brain drain will cost in percentage of GDP in a few years? Ragnar, yeah, you asking me a great question, but I cannot answer that. I know it's going to be significant, but I cannot pinpoint how many percent. There's a cumulative effect, okay? Uh, the longer it goes, the more of a hit that Russian economy will be taking because what has been happening recently, what's happening now. Again, that's pretty tragic, I should say. Rick S, thank you for $50. No message, but this is pretty powerful message in itself. What are your thoughts on Gorbachev's passing last night? Hantike. I'm sad. I'm sad. I've made a video. Finishing up editing. Tomorrow is gonna be a little different at 11 p.m. Moscow. I usually live stream, but this time I will do a premiere of my video on Gorbachev, on his legacy, and after that I will do an entire stream dedicated to Gorbachev for questions and answers. I will try to answer as much as I can. So please tune in tomorrow. Bernard Manas, John Wakamatsu, member 2 months, can be your guide if you visit Los Angeles. No visas. How do I visit Los Angeles with no visas? Ray, well, thank you so much. You look really tired. You should go to bed and come back refreshed tomorrow. I had a sleepless night. I was driving all night. Yes, and the lightning is terrible here. Lightning usually helps Well, I tell you what, the bad lighting doesn't help, but it makes things worse, look worse. Shadows under my eyes and stuff like that. But the good lighting is actually it's left on Rostov, but makes me look a little better. Thank you. Great to see you, Ray. Constantine sounds very congested. Paula, I am congested. I don't know. It just goes up and down. Gonna go and see a doctor soon. Okie dokie. No, it's not COVID. I tested negative for COVID. Natasha tested negative. It feels like ever since we came back from vacation, early first days of August, I've been sick. Very strange. Strange year, I'm telling you. Terrible year. Terrible, strange year. Just, can we go back? I don't know. I want to go back to 1996 or 1989 or I don't know. I don't care. A long time ago. Instead, I'm stuck in 2022 and it's just a bad year after a bad year after a bad year. I thought 2020 was bad. Then 2021 came and I thought that was bad. Oh boy. Yeah. And now I'm thinking 2022 is bad. Let's wait until 2023 comes along. Why? Why? What for? What is this like a punishment that God sends us? I don't believe in that, but yeah. Anyone who has a time machine, please lend me for a couple days. 60s. Backwards time travel. Let's go back to the future for a weekend. After storms, there's always sunshine. Thank you, Steven. Thank you. I know. I know. After being congested, it's always clearing up. Time's up, says Nightbot. And Nightbot knows what it's saying. Twisted Timster. Too scared to see the future. Me too. Choose 1988. We should make a stream dedicated to that. Which year you'd like to travel and why? If we gave you a time machine, you could give it back before we gave it to you. That's a possibility. Nickelodeon surname. You're getting into a very twisted territory. Yes, I could give it to you well way back before you give it to me. What's your message on your shirt? Live and die. I don't know. I just liked it. Some time ago, I bought the T-shirt. That's it. My friends, gotta wrap it up. Tomorrow, stream about Mikhail Gorbachev. I will tell you things that you don't know about him, and you definitely have not heard anywhere because I'm going to be giving you personal details. I lived in Gorbachev years. I remember Gorbachev years very well because they were kind of first years. I was not adult, but I was understanding things. Okay, and good years. I'll tell you all about it. So tomorrow, come back tomorrow. We'll watch my movie about Mikhail Gorbachev, and then there will be the stream. So MCL McL. I had same situation. My dad passed away in May 2021. So I know exactly how you feel. 21 was a terrible year, and then 22. Jeez. Yes, my friends, please join me in prayer. Thank you so much. Let's make it a good prayer. Let's make it awesome. Everything's a little different in this location. Gonna set everything up again. Shall we? Dear God, thank you so much for giving us this day. Thank you for putting food on our tables and roofs over our heads. Thank you for surrounding us with the loved ones and the ones that we love. Please help our children, keep them safe and healthy. Please help Ukrainians and Ukraine stop the bloodshed. Reach out and touch hearts of people who can make the decision. Fill them with love, empathy, mercy, make their hearts softer, forgiveness. Fill them with forgiveness. Open their eyes so they see what's going on and they will make the decision to stop. Please help my country. Send an army of angels with sharp swords to restore goodness and order of things. Please send angels to everyone in Ukraine who has been affected. Give them strength. Answer their prayers. Make their wishes come true. Please give them strength, forgiveness, love, and happiness. Please send angels so they keep everyone's out of harm's way and no more blood is shed. Please give us strength, smarts, and wisdom to raise our children the way that they will never ever fight and make this place a better world. I'm asking for all pregnant women who are facing decision, who are trying to make the decision to keep the baby or not. Please reach out and talk to them. Touch their hearts, touch their minds so they make the right decision. Please help everyone who is sick right now. Please send healing, send strength, and send love. Thank you very much for bringing everyone into this community. Thank you for giving us an ability to pray together. I'm asking for everyone who is praying or watching us pray, please hear their prayers, answer their prayers, and make everyone's wish come true. I would like to mention a few people that want to be mentioned. They need your help, and they are Elena, Natasha, Jake, Michael, Oля, Dasha, Sky, Bonnie and Igor, Melissa, Buzz, Anne, Jean-Paul, Paula, Janine, Michael Milkovich, Marlene, Narnian Lady, Sabrina, Freddie, Susan, Fiona, Susan S., Moby Bay, Chirper, Stephen, Ellen, Madeline, Paul, Priscilla, Michelle, King Nero, Susan M., Martin, Joanne, Donald from Wisconsin, always asking for himself and separately for his country, the United States of America. Allison and Dave Moyers. I found Waldo, Liz, Deborah, Isabel Legault, May her father rest in peace and give her strength to cope with this tragedy, please. Janice Burgess, Maureen M., and her sister. Terry Carter, Golden Griffon. Ariana, Liz, Bruce, King Nero, Kayleen, Michael, Thomas, Tony, Bob, Jessica, Minutes to Midnight, Cindy Workman and her husband, Mr. Hanson, Haiti Howitz, Carol Reed, who broke arm, needs help. Please send help those who travel willingly or forcefully. A lot of people are asking for liberty to be preserved in the United States of America. Please preserve liberty and hear those people who are asking for it. I am also asking for Gaby. He needs your help. And 4 children, specifically the Maverick, Sebastian, Britzel, and Coulter. They need your help real bad, and their families, their loved ones, need your help. Please give them healing. Show your miracle to every one of them. And send those kids home healthy so they live long and healthy lives alongside their parents and the loved ones. Please make it so. Thank you so much, dear Father, Jesus Christ. Amen. My friends, thank you so much. Thank you. You're awesome and you rock. I really appreciate for coming here, for giving me a chance. Please come back tomorrow. It's going to be an interesting stream about Mikhail Gorbachev. I will answer all questions and I'll tell you some personal stories of how I experienced Glasnost Perestroika, what it was to me. Not just words, okay? Those were life-changing events and how they changed my life and changed lives of my parents and relatives and friends. So you're gonna like that. Thank you so much. Signing off. Mods, thank you very much for watching my back, and thanks for letting me stay a little longer today.